Welcome everyone to the part 2 video that I was meaning to put out yesterday. As you can see, I am back home because unfortunately I was unable to put out the video yesterday. So just super quick, sadly, I caught exactly 0 fish at the beach yesterday. Part of the reason for that is I have a toddler, and turns out toddler really wanted to play with daddy at the beach. So it is what it is, couldn't do it. We did see some fish. I saw some mullet schooling, but that was about it, which is unfortunate. I do think the weather and the force of the waves had something to do with it. So I do feel like I kind of let you guys down, but it is, hopefully at least you had some enjoyment of there. The beach was phenomenal. It was the first real beach trip with my little baby girl. And she had such a blast. I had such a blast. I'm not really much of a beach person, but she made it a lot more fun. Of course, my back is as red as a cooked lobster right now. So we're all like lotioning each other, trying to like get rid of the sunburn as best I can. I hope it's, gets treated relatively quick because I leave for a work trip in a couple of days. Don't worry, I do plan on having a pre-recorded video ready for y'all to go actual this time, but unfortunately guys, I do have to sorry, but I do want to have some educational facts to throw out there. And what that is how the debris line affects fish. Now, for those of you who have any experience with the beach, especially with shallow beaches like in the Gulf of Mexico, and what I mean by shallow beaches, if you've never been to the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico is one of those beach sort of setups that you can walk so far out from the water and be relatively shallow. I think you can kneel about 200-300 feet from the beach itself, compared to like the western coasts where you might go out 20 feet and all of a sudden it's 300 feet down. So, but if you are on a shallower beach, and in some of the beaches where even on some of theirs you get like that the deeper you'll get is what's called a debris line, and that's where in the water there will be this little section of water, a little strip that has a bunch of dead leaves, dead plants, and just stuff kind of floating in the water. And you can kind of see it on the beach from the low tide and high tide. When it goes out, you'll see these lines of where all these debris were, but there's actually one of those lines in the water itself, and it's usually very shallow, about 1.5 feet deep. But that debris line is actually fairly important because in areas where you have just sand, there's not a lot of protections for baby fish or small fish, and that debris line is actually very important for protecting those baby fish. And I see all these people fishing on the Gulf of Mexico, and they're walking out and throwing their baits as far as they can, and you really don't need to do that. You need to be kind of where that debris line is, which could be super shallow, or throwing your bait to where the mullet are schooling at that depth, because where there's food you're going to have predators. And so that debris line is such an important concept that protects these baby fish. It provides them the structure, because there is no structure in the breaks. There's just a sandy, empty bottom. There's no structure. There's nothing to protect. So baby fish have to go somewhere to protect themselves. They're also, baby fish usually cannot swim against the ocean currents. They can't beat the waves. A lot of fish can't actually handle the force of waves, so they're sort of protecting themselves in that aspect. But they can just kind of sit there and drift with that organic material, and that also, all that organic material is also going to breed a lot of aquatic invertebrates and other things that these little fish and these baby fish can feed on and go get larger. And then once they get larger, that's when you're going to find them, you know, migrating to deeper waters. So be really interested in, it kind of goes into, if you're into fish watching, you want to see fish, you don't have to, and you're going to the ocean, you don't have to go deep. You just don't. You can, if you're interested in just seeing really neat, cool fish, you can go to that debris line and kind of snorkel around that, and you'll see those fish, especially things like pipefish and larval fish, baby black drum, things like that. Those fish are going to be in that sort of debris line more often than not, because it's an area of lesser current. They're not having to swim as hard. There's so much biological potential and biological feeding for them in that area. So yes, so once again, sorry, couldn't put out this video yesterday. I could have put out a video yesterday explaining that we didn't get any fish. However, as anyone who knows, who's been out in the water or in a pool all day, you know, all afternoon, by the time we got back, we cleaned up, and then we went out to dinner and got back to the hotel, we were exhausted and we just lost. Just all of us fell asleep. All of us fell asleep. It was exhausting, but such a rewarding. So sorry that this week might have been a disappointment to some people, but it was kind of needed. Good reset, recharge the batteries, the mental batteries, and all that. But thank you guys so much again. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you do. I'd really appreciate it. Hope to see you again. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your loved ones. That's what I did this weekend. And peace.